Cody Loke Sports Info here, back with another vid for you guys. Yeah, y'all, hit that subscribe, like, bell icon so y'all can be notified of this real because y'all know Odilo keeps it real. Yeah, you guys, I might don't be on here long, but this is just a random stream. But I wanted to just, get into this right here because I've been noticing, lately that a lot of boxing fans, right, they've been bringing up sparring sessions and they've been bringing up amateur careers, right? And this is how this is how you truly know that these boxing fans are new, right? This is how you truly know that these boxing fans are new. Because if you know anything about sparring, sparring really doesn't mean a lot, right? Because you could be working on something. And we all know that your amateur career doesn't mean a damn thing in the pros, right? So bringing up somebody amateur career, like they always bring up Udanis Ugas. He beat Crawford twice in the amateurs. So Brian Castano beat Earl Spencer Jr. and dropped him in the amateurs. Do I think that Brian Castano can beat Earl Spencer Jr. right now if he move up to 154? No. It'll be a good fight, but I think Earl Spencer Jr. will win the fight. So I just don't understand, this is just a new boxing fan though, right? The new boxing fan, they really don't they they just don't know about boxing, so they just get mesmerized by everything, right? They just get mesmerized by punches getting thrown. And it's like, do y'all even know styles? Do you even know that sparring is, one person could be letting this other person work on something or vice versa, right? Are they both working on, certain things? So, but let's share this boxing scene article, you guys. Let's get into some other news. Right, I just wanted to just address that real fast because it's just ridiculous, right? And this is what I'm kind of intrigued with right here. Danny Garcia embraces fight with Landy Lara at 155 catchweight. Excuse me. And I'm really intrigued in this. For this fight because it's like an 85% chance that Danny Garcia will knock him out. Laura will knock out Danny Garcia, right? Or give him a boxing lesson. I can see Laura giving, how can Danny Garcia even keep up with, with an Ennis Larry Lara, right? Even at 40, even about, the man is about to be 40 years old, and I still can't see Danny Garcia keeping up with the man, right? So Danny, he's going to have a hard time, and if you guys don't know, he's going to take on Jose Benavidez and on July, I think 30th, something like that. And I'm going for Jose Benavidez. Yeah, I like Danny Garcia, but I just think that Jose Benavidez is a better fighter. Hey, I could be totally wrong, and Danny can go up in there and knock him out or win the fight, whatever. But, hey, that's just my opinion. In other news, Floyd Mayweather said Andre Ward said he don't mind doing an exhibition against Jake Paul. Okay, so Floyd Mayweather, right? He probably trying to recruit Andre Ward. Probably didn't talk to Andre Ward when they was at the Hall of Fame, ceremony. Like, hey, bro, you want to make this bread on this, come on, man. You can beat up these guys who don't really know how to box like that, right? You can make you some good money, What? Hey. But I'm pretty sure that Floyd Mayweather, he got his hand up in there somewhere, and he's going to get it cut because Floyd is not stupid, right? He's not stupid. People think that Floyd is dumb, but Floyd is not dumb. He's far from it. So the Virgil Ortiz versus Michael McKinson fight is set for August 6th in Fort Worth, Texas. And me, I have Virgil Ortiz winning this fight, pretty easy. Like, because if you guys don't know, Michael McKinson, he doesn't have, that much punching power. And we already know that Virgil Ortiz, he can take a shot, right? Because he took a shot from Mean Machine. It wobbled him. Yes, it made him do the stanky leg, but, he pulled through. And, he eventually stopped Mean Machine. So, yeah, so I got Virgil winning that fight within 6-7 rounds. Within 7 rounds. I'm gonna say 7 rounds. 7 rounds. I'm gonna say 7 rounds. Within 7 rounds. Yeah, you guys, but I just wanted to really address that situation, because it's like nobody can, right? It's like boxing is so weird nowadays, right? Nobody can have an opinion about nothing without you being attacked and called all type of names, right? Like Roy Jones Jr. They just after Roy, and it's like Roy, he just giving his opinion, and why are y'all picking on Roy? They tried to clown Tarver, right? Said he looked like Dowsum from Street Fighter. Man, it's like, bro, like, what are y'all? Right? They said something about Bernard Hopkins, right? Sean Porter, if Sean Porter give Terrence Bud Crawford from credit, they going after Sean Porter. Whoever gives Crawford any kind of credit, they are going after these people, man. Man, like, you feel what I'm saying? It's like boxing has changed so much. It's like now people worried about sparring sessions. They worried about amateur careers. You can't even have a damn opinion about nothing. This is how you know that these are all new fans. They all new. Because 2-3 years ago, we wasn't talking about no sparring sessions. Even a year ago, even 2 years ago, right? We wasn't talking about sparring sessions. Sparring session doesn't mean jack. It doesn't mean nothing. So whoever's sparring, who you could spar heavyweight, you could spar this guy. It doesn't matter. You don't know if they working on something. This person could be working on defense. This person could be working on, activity, trying to get up their stamina. This is how sparring goes. But if you watch boxing for a long period of time, you would notice this is how you know all these people are new. Right? Because they get mesmerized off sparring sessions now. You see what's the name did to him in the sparring session? Man, like that. That doesn't mean he will do that to him in the ring without headgear on and body gear on and big gloves. It could be a whole different scenario. So sparring doesn't mean jack nothing. That's like Earl Spence Jr. versus Floyd Mayweather. They sparring session. Do you actually think that Earl Spence Jr. can beat Floyd Mayweather? Do anybody in a right mind actually think that Earl Spence Jr. back then could have beat Floyd Mayweather? One of the greatest boxers that probably ever lived. Hell no. Right, but since he got a little bit, like since Floyd was coming out of jail and, and Earl Spence Jr. jumped on him and got a little success. Oh, Earl Spence Jr., he's the truth. No, he's not. Floyd Mayweather is pumping him up because he's part of the PBC, which is part of TMT. They all under the same umbrella. He's his boss. Of course he gonna give him some shine if that's his boss. He trying to make this young man, get some shine. And you see it worked, right? You see it work. Once he got co-signed by Floyd Mayweather, everybody went bananas, went berserk. Right? Even myself back then. Even myself. And that's a fact. Even myself back then. I went berserk too. Oh, yeah, man. But, man, in the grand scheme of things, it was like, then you see him, just annihilating these fighters. And it's like, okay, yeah, he could be the truth, Then he chasing around Keith Thurman. That's what really got me too, right? Because he was chasing around Keith Thurman, until I start, until a couple years later. And then you getting all this information and you like, that shit was a chess move by Al Heyman. All that was a chess move. Al Heyman played with our mind. Right? Him and Floyd Mayweather played with us. Man, because they already had a date on the Keith Thurman and Earl Spence Jr. fight. They already knew when that fight was going to take place. And it was supposed to take place in 2020. Keith Thurman told us that a few times, but we wasn't listening to him. It was supposed to take place in 2020. But Keith Thurman lost and Earl Spence Jr. got in a car accident. So that threw it all the way off. Right? They was going to fight for 3 belts, for a 3-belt unification. Keith Thurman told us that. But Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao. Then Earl Spence Jr., he got in the car accident. So that messed off the fight. And then we had the pandemic in 2020. So that really messed it off. Right? It wasn't going to be no big crowd, no huge crowds, none of that. So come on, man. The whole fight just got destroyed. That's for what? Trying to wait it out. Just like this fight right here. If Earl Spence Jr., I'm going to put this on record. If Earl Spence Jr. doesn't take on Terrence Bud Crawford, his next fight, I will say it's an 85%, it's a 75% chance he's going to lose. Right? Or he's going to get exposed very badly. Very badly. Right? Because if he take on a Stantionis is he's a pretty hard puncher. But he's kind of tailor-made for, he's tailor-made for Earl Spence Jr. because he stayed right there in front of you just like you do Daniel Ugas. And he tried to cover up. And, Earl Spence Jr., he will beat the hell out of Stantionis. But it does have Boots Ennis right there, right? Let's go. Wait, hold on. Let me go to the IBF rankings real fast because I want you guys to look at this. See? Man, Jerron Boots Ennis, he fought over a month ago, right? Almost a month ago, right? And they still haven't updated these, Oh. Right, hold on, you guys. They still haven't updated these standings. Man, and it's crazy. But I've been told people that, though. I've been told people that they wasn't going to update it because if they update it, right? Because if they update it, then Jerron Boots Ennis, he can put in a petition for his mandatory. So how could you keep him from not putting in a petition from his mandatory? You hold him back from being the official mandatory by not putting him in the number one spot. Simple. They all working together though. This is all, this is all part of Al Heyman plan. So don't get it twisted, right? Man, because he's with Showtime, which means he's with the PBC and TMT. He's with Showtime. Jerron Boots Ennis. He's with Showtime. So this is what it is, though. This is a chess move. You keep Jerron Boots Ennis right here. You try to get him another payday, another fight, right? Because rumors going around that he's supposed to fight Keith Thurman or something like that, right? Okay. Bam. Now that gives Errol Spence Jr. more time. But if you go to the WBA, right? If you go to the WBA, then you got close that out. Okay, now then you got then you got Stantionis right there. Usyk, I don't know Usyk. Right, then you got Stantionis right there, waiting on his shot. Oh, what happened? What's going on? Alexander Usyk. Let me scroll on down. What the hell happened? Oh, sorry, you guys. Got a plane going over my head. Going over the house. Yeah, these airplanes be killing my internet service. Killing it. It's crazy. I wonder what the hell be on these planes. Right now, we just gonna scroll on down. Now here go Jermell. Champion. Okay. Errol Spence Jr. Then they got Stantionis right there, right? And we all know, if you guys don't know, Stantionis got paid step-aside money. Right? Like Stantionis, he got paid step-aside money. Just like Tim Tszyu. Right? So I'm figuring that it's going to be Stantionis next. They're going to come up with some kind of excuse to get Spence up out of that fight. So don't think that Errol Spence Jr. that he training, for Crawford or nothing. Man, like they're going to try to get him up out of that fight so he could take on this guy right here, Stantionis, and his fans ain't going to, they're not going to hold him accountable, man, because they don't want to see him lose anyway. Right? We got to understand that. That's the reason that Errol Spence Jr. doesn't get held accountable, because they don't want to see him lose anyway. They want to see him go. They want him to have an easy trip, through it. So, okay, if he takes on this guy, bam, right? Like, let's say he takes on Stantionis in what? October, right? He takes on Stantionis October, November. Bam, then that will give him enough time, right, for Al Heyman them to go back at Canelo, because Canelo would have been done fought Triple G, right? Triple G fight is September 17th versus Canelo. That's on the 17th. Let's say that Spence, he have his fight in October, November. Bam, then they can try to negotiate another fight, right, with Canelo, because Canelo, he said he's still open to have that fight with Errol Spence Jr. That's a fact. Right? He said he's still open to have that fight with Errol Spence Jr. So if he takes on Stantionis, let's say he beats Stantionis, right? He knocks out Stantionis because I'm pretty sure he should demolish him because he tailor-made, right? That's why they keeping him away from Boots. That's why they keeping Spence away from Boots because he can't really keep up with Boots right now. So that's why they keeping Boots number 3 in the IBF still, right? Because if he become number 1, Boots, he can officially put in his petition for his mandatory shot. So they keep him there so he can't really do nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Like he gonna have to fight another eliminator, right? It's gonna be a final eliminator now. Just like I've been told you guys that before. First, the IBF, they always come out with a final eliminator. And then 2 weeks before the fight, they call it a eliminator, right? Because they know you didn't forgot about it saying final eliminator. So they call it eliminator. Then after that fighter beat that person, and then the IBF say, no, you got to fight another fight to be, the official mandatory. And that happened with Louis King Kong Ortiz and Charles Martin. Right? So, yeah. So this is just what it's going to be. And I think that, I think that Stantionis, he's going to be next. Because they trying to stall out Crawford because Crawford, I don't think he want to sign no long-term deal. But you never know. You never know. Like, hopefully, that they get something done because I do want to see the fight. But, if we've been waiting this long and they haven't gave us the fight, I mean, shit, like Al Heyman, he doesn't want to risk that market like I've been saying, for, almost a year now. He doesn't want to risk that market, man. And it's kind of shady. He doesn't want to risk that Texas market. I mean, with none of those fighters, with Jamel or Spence, right? Or Jamal. Well, he'll probably send down Jamal like, hey, Jamal, go and get him. And shit, Jamal come down to 154 and fuck around and get knocked out too. Then what? Come on, man. Like, I never seen guys behave like this in my life. But yeah, you guys. So the new thing, I guess, now is, people are addicted to sparring sessions and people amateur careers. Like that really means something, in a boxing ring with no headgear and no body gear and no big gloves on. Right? Like that really means something, when you was fighting in a system that was about points instead of knockouts. I mean, come on, man. But this is where boxing has gone, and this is where boxing is going. It's going even, man. Now we got to get these fanboys up out of here. We got to get, these fanboys up out of here, right? This is another reason why I try to teach, the casual boxing fans boxing, so they will know. So they will know the ins and outs of boxing. So when they come on here, they know what they're talking about. But, other channels, they're going to push narratives, for likes and subs, super chats. Hey, it is what it is, you guys. But I'm going to leave it right there. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Comment on the video. Share. This is Odilo Sports Info, and I'm gone.